there's been an increase in the number of cases of violence, including gender-based violence. In Limpopo, police found the body of a man who had fled after allegedly killing his wife at their home in Phalaborwa on Sunday. The suspect was found dead around 4 to 5 kilometers from the murder scene. Police say he appears to have shot himself. Meanwhile, a man from the same province who gunned down 7 of his relatives is set to appear in court today. For more on this, I'm joined now by Limpopo Police spokesperson, Brigadier Motlafela Mojapelo. Brigadier, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. Let's speak about this Limpopo man who allegedly shot and killed his wife on Boxing Day. What happened?
Yeah, the police received reports about a shooting incident that took place in one of the houses at Namakhale, just outside Phalaborwa. It happened on Sunday the 26th, just after midday. And then on arrival at the scene, they found the body of a woman with apparent gunshot wounds. Then they launched investigations because preliminary investigations conducted at the scene indicated that the suspect fled the scene using a motor vehicle. Then the body of the suspect was subsequently discovered at his farm under Lulekane policing area in an apparent suicide. The firearm that was allegedly used during the shooting was also confiscated. It was found next to the body.
So do we know at this point what the motive behind this horrific incident may have been?
Well, the investigations are currently unfolding. We haven't yet been able to determine the motive, but domestic violence can be ruled out.
This is the same incident that follows that of 7 people killed on Christmas Day, also being linked to a domestic challenge.
Yeah, definitely. We have had this particular incident that took place under Malamulela policing area, where a family member shot and killed 7 of his family members. He then ultimately handed himself over to the police in Toyando. He is today appearing in Malamulela Magistrate Court, facing 7 counts of murder.
I mean, as we speak, these are really shocking incidents happening very close to, well, along the same period, December festive season, where we're seeing the domestic challenges, now family members choosing to resort to violence. Is this a new trend that we're noticing? Or, you know, surely it points to some concerns that police should be looking out at?
Well, this is actually a challenge because, as you know, that our primary responsibility as the South African Police Service is to prevent crime from happening. And once crime does take place, it is also our responsibility to investigate. Now, this particular crime is actually falling under what we normally call a social crime. That requires a different method of policing because different role players have to be roped in with a view of trying to prevent it. It is not a crime that perhaps require a conventional method of policing where you can then send police vans to go and patrol and try to prevent it. We need a different approach, so it calls for different structures in our communities, our community policing forum, our community safety forums. All players and stakeholders should be involved and actually engage in vigorous campaigns to educate our communities, to make use of available platforms and deal with domestic challenges before they escalate into something that is uncontrollable.
And how can community members help? I mean, with an increase in these cases where people are resorting to violence when faced with domestic challenges, how does a community get involved and perhaps alert police? Well,
part of our strategy is to engage in vigorous campaigns, awareness campaigns around different communities. And already we have had a number of them. We will continue having those campaigns because it is important for us to educate one another on this particular sketch, for us to be able to put a stop to it.
Upon your investigations, I mean, firearms are used as we look at these two cases. What have you found the nature of the firearm to be? Is it an illegal firearm or perhaps a legal one? What are you finding?
Well, in both incidents that we are speaking about, the one that took place in Namahal outside Phalaborwa and the one that took place in Lulegan, in Malamulele, both firearms are licensed firearms. What we're doing now, both firearms will be subjected to ballistic investigations to determine if they were perhaps used in the commission of serious crimes previously. We have confiscated them and we'll take it forward to check whether they were involved previously.
Very well. Before we let you go, let's just quickly talk about some of the big challenges you face as you try and resolve cases of this nature.
Well, like I've mentioned, this is a crime that requires involvement of everybody. I'm talking about communities at large. And obviously the police will be in the forefront because it's our task, it is our obligation to prevent crime from happening. But we need active involvement of everybody so that we put an end to this sketch.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for chatting to us there, Brigadier Motlafela Mojapelo, speaking about the increase in family-orientated murders. I mean, we've seen two of them back-to-back in Limpopo. The one that involves the 7 people that were murdered on Christmas Day. We know that the suspect is appearing in court today, so this is a matter that we'll be watching very closely.